Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Battle Basics. Today, in continuation of the last episode, I will start discussing one of the major synergies in real-time strategy events. Be with me for an episode about the skill damage synergies and the commanders that are part of this. This video will not be the only video about this synergy. However, in the next part, I will talk about dragon skills and formation building of this synergy. The skill damage RTS formation is centered around maximizing commanders' skill damage casts. As a quick reminder from the last video, the commanders cast their skill damage based on troops' rage, which fills up the more you're in fights. Rage also fills up faster if you have lower army health. Here is a simple comparison with active army skill, which is the equivalent of the RTS skill damage for out-of-strategy events. Regarding the similarities, we can first mention that both are commanders' damage, but are calculated as a coefficient of your troop damage against enemy marches, and countering has an effect on them. In other words, the more troop bonuses and counter bonuses you have, and the higher the coefficient damage is for the commander, the higher the skill damage you will have. But even though the main function looks really similar, there are some major differences. First difference is that there is no certain frequency in RTS skill damage, whereas in active army skill, you know exactly in which seconds your commanders will cast their damage again. In RTS events, the frequency of skill cast depends on how fast your march can fill up rage for 3 skill casts, so it's the commander's turn again. It also depends on the skill's cooldown, which are different for different commanders. The second difference is that active army skill is a single target damage, made by the commander against the frontline enemy lineup in the same row as them. In the meantime, RTS skill damages are very different and can be against a single army or multiple enemies at the same time. In the RTS event, we call the multi-target skills AoE skills, which stands for Area of Effect. Next difference is that the active army skill targets a single column of enemy, and its damage is calculated based on the troops in the same column as the commander. So the damage is effectively based on 1/5 of your army and targets only 1/5 of the enemy army. In the RTS event, you target the entire enemy march, and your commander's damage is calculated based on your entire army's damage. And the last and most important difference is that not all the commanders have skill damage in RTS events. That is very different from active army skills that all commanders have. In this video, I will categorize all commanders with skill damage. But as I just mentioned, not all commanders have skill damage. Here is a full list of all commanders with skill damage sorted by their damage coefficient. As you can see, Daenerys with AoE damage has the highest output in regional fights where multiple enemies are present, and after her is Brienne with the highest single target coefficient. One thing you can immediately notice is that this is not female synergy at all. As I emphasized in the last video, and I'm going to do so again, the RTS synergies have nothing to do with their non-RTS counterparts. This is why commanders like Sandor, Seg, Theon, Enzo, Drake, Latz, Winton, Lareo, and Obion are also part of the RTS skill damage synergy when they are not part of the usual female synergy out of RTS events. Let's have a mental image of all these skill damage commanders and move on to the next set of skills that can assist this synergy. I will circle back to these skills in the next video when I want to talk about team building in this synergy. Another way for commanders to contribute to this synergy is by boosting the skill damage of other commanders. This can be done in 2 ways. They either boost your commander's skill damage or increase the enemy's skill damage taken. The main commander that does this is Sanel, who adds a massive 180% boost to your skill damage. After her is the free-to-play commander Jean, which is not usually used out of RTS events in fights, but is a great addition cause of this boost in the RTS events. Next is Kosomo, which is shown locked cause I didn't bother to obtain him yet, which adds to the entire damage taken up to 60%. If you remember the last page, you saw Commander Sandor as a skill damage contributor as well, who had a 1,350 coefficient and was ranked 3rd in damage output as well. He can increase the damage taken by the enemy by 50% as well. Commander Cersei will also increase all your output damages, including skill damage. The next way to contribute is skill cooldown reduction. As you can see here in Daenerys' skill example, all commander skills have a rage cost and cooldown at the same time. For a commander to cast their skill, you need both the rage and for the cooldown to pass. Usually rage is the limiting factor early in the fight, and the more damage your troop gets, the cooldown has more effect as your troop's health goes lower and your rage fills faster. Commander Kasana has a 1-second cooldown reduction effect when deployed. But what is more effective is the duplicated skill cast, which is provided again by Kasana or Layla. When you have Kasana deployed, there is a 40% chance for the skills to be duplicated. It means, for example, if Daenerys casts her massive skill damage, there is a 40% chance that it's cast again immediately and causes double damage. This was all the content for today's video, but as I promised, this is not all my content about the skill damage synergy. In the next video, I will discuss a few more helpful skills and the way of team building for this synergy before moving on to the next synergies. I hope you all enjoyed today's video and loved the content. Make sure to leave comments if you have any further questions, and like the video if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to my channel to not miss future videos. Have a great time, everyone.